Topic: States of matter. What is melting? Melting is when a solid changes into a liquid. What energy change occurs during melting? Heat energy is converted into kinetic energy, allowing particles to move. At what temperature does melting occur? Melting occurs at a specific temperature known as the melting point. What is freezing? Freezing is when a liquid changes into a solid. How are freezing point and melting point related? Freezing is the reverse of melting and occurs at exactly the same temperature. The melting point and freezing point are identical for pure substances. What is the freezing and melting point of water? Water freezes and melts at 0 degrees Celsius. What energy change occurs during freezing? Freezing requires a significant decrease in temperature, loss of thermal energy, and occurs at a specific temperature. What is boiling? Boiling is when a liquid changes into a gas. How does boiling occur in a liquid? Heat causes gas bubbles to form below the liquid's surface, allowing particles to escape from both the surface and within the liquid. At what temperature does boiling occur? Boiling occurs at a specific temperature known as the boiling point. What is evaporation? Evaporation occurs when a liquid changes into a gas and occurs over a range of temperatures. Where does evaporation occur in a liquid? Evaporation occurs only at the surface of liquids, where high-energy particles escape. At what temperatures does evaporation occur? Evaporation happens at temperatures below the boiling point of the liquid. What factors increase evaporation rate? Larger surface area and warmer liquid surface temperature both increase evaporation rate. Which particles evaporate from a liquid? Only the highest energy particles at the surface have enough energy to escape and evaporate. What is condensation? Condensation occurs when a gas changes into a liquid on cooling. Over what temperature range does condensation occur? Condensation takes place over a range of temperatures, unlike boiling, which occurs at a fixed point. What happens to gas particles during condensation? Gas particles lose energy, and when they collide, they lack energy to separate, instead grouping together to form a liquid. What energy conversion occurs when substances are heated? Particles absorb thermal energy, which converts to kinetic energy. What is the fundamental principle of kinetic theory? Heating increases particles' kinetic energy, changing their motion and state. How does heating affect solid particles? Particles vibrate more intensely, causing expansion that eventually breaks the solid structure. What happens when liquids are heated? Particles move more, spread out, and surface particles gain enough energy to evaporate. What occurs at the boiling point? All particles gain enough energy to escape intermolecular forces, turning liquid to gas. Interconversion of states. Solid to liquid, melting, liquid to gas, boiling, gas to liquid, condensation, liquid to solid, freezing. Reversible arrow. Reversible arrow. What does a heating curve show? Temperature changes versus time, including plateaus during state changes. Why does temperature remain constant during state changes? Energy is used to overcome intermolecular forces rather than increase kinetic energy. How does particle motion change from solid to gas? Vibrations in solids change to sliding motion in liquids, then to free rapid motion in gases. Heating curve. Heating curve. What is a cooling curve? A graph showing temperature changes as a substance cools from gas to solid. How does a cooling curve compare to a heating curve? A cooling curve is the mirror image of a heating curve, showing the reverse state changes. Why do cooling curves and heating curves have horizontal sections? Horizontal sections indicate state changes where temperature remains constant while energy changes the particle arrangement. Cooling curve. Cooling curve. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share and subscribe to flashcards and turn the bell icon for future updates. See you in the next video.